Hello, what's up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming at you guys right now with a live 1 vs 1 battle, fresh from the ladder, featuring spawning in the west. It's going to be the Soviet forces of coL HelpingHans, and spawning in the east. It's going to be the Wehrmacht forces of SturmTigerEvilzzy, who I might just call evil. Spoiler alert, I just cast a game from HelpingHans, like literally just now on the ladder, so he's clearly hopped back in for another. The game I cast was also Soviet Union versus Wehrmacht, and HelpingHans really put on, spoiler alert again, really put on quite the display. Very dominating, crushing his opponent, who went for an awkward build, and it was almost a timing attack out of hands, which hit right before, or just, well before the build could really do anything good. So, an easy game just now for HelpingHans, but well executed, and flexing his muscles quite well. So, safe to say, HelpingHans pretty much a player who's at the top end of the game. He's definitely in the top 10 players, and therefore I think it's safe to assume that he knows how to play, and that we can probably learn a few things from watching here. Spawning in the east, of course, we've got this SturmTigerEvilzzy, who I am not familiar with. Though members of the SturmTiger clan they're a pretty friendly bunch actually. I've exchanged a few emails. I've got 1 or 2 of them on my Steam friends, and we've had the odd game on Company of Heroes too. So yeah, they're a pretty friendly bunch. Not actually familiar with Evilzzy though. So we'll have to see what he's like now. Of course, straight off the bat, I'm sure you've all noticed, he's gone for that Ostripan doctrine. So 3 squads of Ostripan are now on the field. The call-in price for those is only 200, and you get a fantastically versatile 6-man squad who, when fighting in cover, is actually pretty potent. Also enables you to skip the construction of many of your tech buildings, so a pretty attractive package all round. Just hang on a second, that's my phone going off. I'm going to have to just cancel the cast, pause the game, cancel the cast, and then resume in just a second. My apologies. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just had a quick phone call there. But I am now back. So let's see. We've got some fights going down in the middle of the map. Looks like we've got some Ostripan weighing in against some conscripts. MG42 moving into position. Looks like there's room in this building for 2 squads. Sadly, the default deployment angle on that building not gonna favour SturmTigerEvilzzy. That's going to give these conscripts enough time to get on out of the arc without taking any fire from the MG. So they will not be suppressed. Wow, that was a squad wipe. That was a squad wipe. These were pioneers. Yeah. So the pioneers have been taken down actually by those conscripts. So SturmTigerEvilzzy there, just kind of losing attention there, losing focus for a second I think, and just losing a squad of pioneers to a squad of conscripts. Never what you want to have to do, and he's going to have to spend 200 manpower replacing those pioneers. A touch frustrating. That could have been any other squad, you know, 200 manpower at this point in the game, and a squad by, you know, not what you want at all. But these things happen from time to time. Of course, this is the summer version of Semyoski, I should say. So these water courses are not frozen, and of course, so units cannot traverse them. Let's see. So we've got a fight going on down here in the south. This squad of engineers has gotten quite deep into the Axis, sort of towards the Axis base, making a cap on the victory point, also the munitions point. Now, the victory point will show up on the minimap, so SturmTigerEvilzzy is aware that a squad has slipped behind his lines there. Molotov comes down into an MG42, but Evilzzy is well aware of that. He gets the MG out of there just in time, which, given that it takes a second or two to pack up, is pretty nice. Another Molotov coming down onto these Ostripan. They get burned for a little bit, but able to get out of there in good time. A lot of fire from these Ostripan coming on down to the conscripts, and like I was saying earlier, when they're in cover, Ostripan actually compete reasonably well with other frontline infantry squads for just basic damage dealt. So yeah, they should be able to put together quite a fight from that position. More Ostripan down here, and seems like the choice for the Soviet player is no choice. Actually, he has not gone for any kind of tech except for Molotovs. So for now, relying on conscripts and engineers. Maybe he's waiting to see what SturmTiger does, whether he's just using Ostripan for Ostripan's sake, or whether he's actually going on for the full lack of tech that you can do with this build. I mean, you can skip out the infantry company and just go for the mechanized company, and that is what we see happening here. So skipping out the Battle Phase 1 building, a nice little perk of being able to use Ostripan as your main frontline troops. Of course, no need for Grenadiers necessarily when you have these guys. Grenadiers are still nice though. They do have some advantages. They're more accurate, their veterancy is a lot better, and they can get that LMG-42 and of course the rifle grenade, and all of those are pretty decent upsides, but you know, they're a lot more expensive and they do require that building. So for now, it makes a lot of sense to skip that building. I think later on in the game, when you've got more resources and building the infantry company is like less onerous, I think going back to build it is a valid choice, and that's just because snipers and mortar squads and grenadiers can still be useful later on in the game, and if they're the right choice, it sucks not to be able to have them. So yeah, but of course that won't be for some time now, till well after we see armor hit the field, that I would go back to make that. Got the old 222 scout car coming out onto the field here for SturmTigerEvilzzy. He's going to look to try and get some work done with that right now, and I reckon it should be pretty potent against just conscripts. You know, it all comes down to the micro, but if the micro's there, that 222 should be able to be quite the profitable unit for SturmTigerEvilzzy. This MG42 getting set up in a pretty awkward position, getting some shots off here, suppressing a squad on the bridge, but there is a conscript squad in this building, and seemingly they're going to be forced out. Oh yes, there's a flamer coming, so that'll be why. Molotov comes down, point blankatov. Wow, I didn't even know you could throw them that short. That's pretty cool. And that is actually going to cause the demise of the MG42 squad, so wow, this is in a precarious location as well. The Soviet player could very well profit from this by stealing the MG42. We'll see if that's what he's going to be able to do. Another Molotov coming down into a great position here, denying the heavy cover. Whoa, a lot of Axis units caught in that one, so a good amount of damage down there. And of course, remember, a Molotov is only 15 munitions to throw, and if he loses even one man off this squad, he can't profitably recrew this MG42, can SturmTigerEvilzzy. So that's a little frustrating. Looks like he's going to sneak around the building. I think he should grab his MG back, because if he doesn't, the Soviet player's going to grab it. And it's just a useful unit to have. Yeah, there we go. So now we should see the fallback from at least this man. Yeah, there we go. MG42 is going to probably... No, that's going to fall back as well. And wow, oh, getting a squad wipe with the 222 on a squad of conscripts, though. So decent work being done there by Evilzzy. Able to right the tables a little bit. Now, HelpingHans has chosen his doctrine. He's gone for the old Lend-Lease tactics. One of the better Soviet commanders, in my opinion. One of the ones I like to keep on the roster myself. It gives you access to the spicy Dansack, a little bit of resource manipulation, conscript repairs, which are always useful, a reinforced half-track, which comes with guards with submachine guns, so a very unusual squad, but a very nice one to be able to call in there. And of course the M4C Sherman, which, you know, you can't change the ammo types on it, but the cannon on it is pretty good, and it still has the 50 cal upgrade, so it's just a really good medium tank. Certainly better than a T-34, certainly better than either of the T-34s that you can get. Even the 85, I think, is probably worse than the M4C Sherman. And anyway, looks like the 222 is going to come on up here, and there needs to be a repair order coming down here for Evilzzy. This is repair time. He's kind of missing out on a little bit here, so I'm hoping he's going to see that and get on the job as soon as possible. Ostrupin making a push in the south. Let's crack the tack, see how the force dispersal looks for the two players. Taking centre right now is HelpingHans. If I have a look at the Soviet base here, still no choice of tech? Oh, he's got Lend-Lease, so, okay, so this is another one of these commanders which you can skip tech out. And unlike in the last game where we saw the Axis player get punished for trying to skip tech and go for mechanized assault, I actually feel like Lend-Lease is one of the safer skip tech kind of doctrines, if you like, because you get such a balanced package. You get those special guards, as I said earlier, you get the medium tank, you get the repairs on conscripts, you get the Dansack, so, you know, you can just build, like, you can build your buildings later on with Soviets. They're quite cheap in the late game, or mid and late game, so you can build them later on and call in some Katushkas, Su-76s, all that good stuff later on. But in this stage of the game, it really helps you get like quicker Shermans and things by not spending your fuel on all that teching. So yeah, I can totally understand. I can understand the appeal of the Lend-Lease tactics doctrine. Now, everything's gone kind of quiet. We've got a couple of fights being taken here. 2 Dansacks actually, 2 spicy machine guns coming out for the Soviet player. Now, I am fully aware that the machine gun is not called a Dansack. I just like to call it that because it's spicy and like the Dansack curry, therefore. I think it's actually called like a Dushka machine gun, I believe, but not 100% on that one. I do know, random trivia, that you can use like an expended shell casing as like a cocking handle on that particular machine gun. I also know that like you should really wear ear defenders because it has like no kind of consideration for the operator's hearing at all. Apparently, it's definitely really loud if you're sat right behind it. Anyway, MG42 set up in a good position. That's going to be sort of exchanging with this Dansack. What the? How is the MG42 in range, but the Dansack isn't? That seems very mysterious to me. Oh, I suppose it's because the MG42 only has to be in range of the edge of the building, but if you look at this arc, the arc for the Dansack starts like in the middle of the building here, so That's really... I did not know you could do that. That's, like, kind of cool in a way. It's like... So you can use a machine gun from outside a building. Oh, no, the Dansek can fire at these guys. The range indicator is just a bit misleading. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So these machine guns are going to exchange fire. And, of course, that's a fight the Dansek's going to win. It's a better machine gun. It's in better cover. It's in, it's in a building. So it's also got 6 men rather than 4. So for a number of reasons, the Dansek will take that exchange. Now Molotov looks to be thrown here, and these Ostrupon, slow to get out of the way. They're also getting suppressed by the other Dansek. Whoa! Oh, they're taking a lot of damage here, actually. They need to GTFO, and SturmTiger, wow, man. He needs to just be a little bit quicker on those, actually. That's the second time I've seen him just get caught for, like, what feels like a moment too long. And I know it's really easily done, and if I play Vermax, it happens all the time. I just click on my dudes, and I'm like, oh my god, they're standing in Molotov. How have I fallen for this yet again? But you can play. It is with perfect micro. It is usually possible to avoid all damage from most Molotovs. So always something to aspire to. Pack gun has entered the field. A little preemptive anti-armor choice here, and that's just as well because we've got a T-70 on the way. Now Ostrupon do have access to a Panzerfaust, so they do tag up quite nicely with the pack gun, and of course the 222's also cannon is like doesn't do nothing to whoa, the damage, whoa, that flame half-track just vaporized the MG who was in that building. Wow, but as I was saying, yeah, the 222 can still do damage to the T-70 as well, so that could be a reasonable, provide some utility against the Soviet light tank. Now, this flame half-track there got right on up to this building. A Dansek crew jumped in it, and it like instantly killed them, more or less, from 5 men as well. That's extreme, man. This thing does so much damage. Like, its effect against buildings is brutal as well. The 251 half-track, when upgraded to flamers, it's still quite fragile, and it does represent a very fragile way to invest all that money, but damn is it good. This 222 scout car as well, going to be kiting this T-70. That's a fight that the 222 should lose, but the T-70 actually can't quite keep pace. Even in reverse, the 222, they're faster. And it's managed to do about 1/3 of the damage onto that T-70, so where's the pack gun at the moment? Coming across the bridge, and looks to be headed up towards the T-70, so looks like he's marshalling his resources into the correct locations as SturmTiger. Good position for the pack gun right now, possibly behind this wall would be alright. He needs to, if possible, get an MG42 in this building, or even this one, seeing as how it's now vacant, would be good. And I kind of like the choice of the 251 upgraded with flamethrowers, because, you've seen your opponent is committed to at least 2 Dansaks, so you know the 251 is going to be actually a pretty valid choice. And we've got a Zis gun on the build queue right now for the Soviet player, so that's going to be coming in to counter the 251. So savvy unit choices there for HelpingHans. Let's see if he's gone for the anti-vehicle grenades as well. Yes, he has, yep. So all 3 of the HQ upgrades have come down now. So we've got Molotovs, AT grenades, and the medics all in play. So yeah, using the Zis gun and an anti-vehicle grenade off of his conscripts, he can get this 251. But the damage on that 251 is so intense that if it comes from unexpected angle, or if you take a particularly bad fight, it can just roast and toast your Zis gun, and then it doesn't really matter about AT grenades from the conscripts. I suppose the T-70 can come in and finish it, so it probably still does care, actually. In fact, this T-70 is looking pretty beefy, actually. It's keeping a lot of the Axis units in check right now. I mean, I know no fights are being taken, so it's pretty hard to, exactly gauge how much value that T-70 is providing. But if you look at the Axis army, it's really only the 222 and the pack gun that can deal with the T-70, and neither of them can do it alone. And the pack gun's pretty immobile, so that's that T-70 is actually like reasonably scary right now for the Axis player. Especially if he just sends it somewhere totally unexpected. Like, I think right now it would be reasonable for him to just send it up to the north and just see if there's any Axis units, or like, does he got Veteran C1 on it? Okay, because this is like the one time I can see secure mode being useful. If he gets Veteran C1 on it, he can totally send it up to the north and start capturing that fuel point. I think that's a pretty sweet use, actually, because you pretty much force the Axis player to respond with the 222, which doesn't really want to fight the T-70 for an extended amount of time anyway. So I quite like that. I think that could be a line of play there for the Soviet player. Far be it for me to second guess someone of HelpingHans' caliber, though. Sorry, I forgot when I click on units I get a response out of the unit. I don't know, let's take a look at the teching here for the Axis player. Seems like Battle Phase 2 has completed, no support armor core constructed yet, but these engineers look like they've fallen back just to build it, so looks like we'll have a support armor core coming down. Now he does have the fuel and manpower ready, does SturmTigerEvilzzy, so I would have thought we'll see a Panzer IV. Could be a Stug. Can't really see an Ostwind being needed. Although an Ostwind actually, it's really good against everything we can see. But SturmTigerEvilzzy, he's seen Dansax. He can probably deduce by now that he's up against the Lend-Lease Doctrine, which means he has to expect the M4C, and therefore an Ostwind doesn't look so great. The M4C pretty much just bullies an Ostwind all day, and is mobile enough to actually almost chase it down too, so you've got to be pretty careful.
We are suffering losses.
Now, the T-70 was sent to the north, as I was suggesting earlier. The Ostripan squad who were garrisoning that building looked to have been gunned down as they tried to retreat across the open. They're now gone, so that's a squad wipe, and I'm beginning to worry a little for SturmTigerEvilzzy. He's down to just 2 squads of Ostripan as frontline infantry. All of his other units are pretty squishy and not the kind of units that can sort of exchange in terms of rifle fire for any amount of time. So that's going to be interesting. Now we've got the half-track with the guards with PPSHs coming in. The 222s here in the right place at the right time. They're going to get some damage onto that half-track. And a fallback coming down from these engineers who are doing a good job, these pioneers in this building. Now the T7, if the T70 can get into this fight, things are going to look really good for HelpingHans, but actually he's just going to leave it up in the north, and I kind of respect that decision too, because it's keeping tabs on everything up there. If the Axis player was to make a push up here, the T70 can respond nicely. The T70 can also respond to any kind of push coming through the middle. So Hans playing it safe rather than taking a gamble and going for advantage there, and I have to respect that, but man, this T22 is going to chase actually. That's up to 3 stars now. What veterancy bonuses does it get? Sighting and accuracy followed by mobility and accuracy, so it's pretty damn snipey right now by all accounts. 2 accuracy upgrades on that scout car. T70 has relocated a little closer to the scout car, and okay, yep, as I kind of reasoned earlier, a Panzer IV is going to be the choice here. So the Sport Armor Corps complete, the Panzer IV complete, and is he going to go for the Pintle Mount? He's got all the munitions in the world. If he doesn't go for the Pintle Mount, I'm going to go insane again, as I always do. I don't know what the follow-up will be. I guess it depends how well this Panzer IV is able to marshal the field. If it's decent and gets up to 2 stars of veterancy, I suspect we may see a transition up to Tier 3, Battle Phase 3. However, if it's still a pretty hard fight out here, he may go for an Ostwind or a Stug to back up this Panzer IV. Or a second Panzer IV. I'm always hesitant to get a second Panzer IV though. Panzer IVs do work well together. I just think that they're a unit which works better when they've got something different supporting them. Like, it's hard to articulate why I feel that way about it, though. I guess it's just kind of like years of Wehrmacht experience or something like that. So, the Soviet player, he's retreated more or less from the north and the middle of the map. A number of his units are reinforcing and healing right now. We do have a mortar squad being chosen. The PM41, lesser spotted Soviet mortar squad gets chosen, but I like that. Given the static nature of fighting in the middle of this map, having the only mortar on the field actually is really good. That actually puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, puts the onus on him to make a move. And that's really nice. It can also really help defend this point if you've captured it. It's a victory point, which is of course crucial. Taking a look at the scoreline, SturmTigerEvilzzy actually ahead by nearly 120 tickets. He's doing pretty good there. That's like way more than I thought he was ahead by. 118 is quite the lead to have right now. HelpingHans probably is going to need to pay a little more attention to those victory points as the game moves on. Sadly, I'm going to have to pause and resume the broadcast in a second. With my doorbell, I shall return very shortly. Hello, I'm back. Right, fantastic. So, let's see what's going on. I'll refresh my memory of what was going on. So, we've got a Dansack in a good position. Oh, that's right, yeah, the Panzer IV had just come onto the field. So let's see if it's able to make much of a difference. Ziska moving into position here into the north to try and take it out. HelpingHans has got that one preemptively. Now would be a good time to rush the Ziska. Actually, maybe not with the 251, I was going to say. With the T70 there screening it, that 251 is never going to get close enough to make any difference. This Panzer IV is getting hammered by this Ziska. He needs to get that one back, and he does. Packgun here set up in a nice ambush position. But HelpingHans either suspects or knows that that's there, so he's going to play it real safe with this T70, which is pretty good. These pioneers need to get out. Oh, I think that could be a squad wipe actually. If HelpingHans decides to chase with the T70, which he may well do. The MG42 at the back here, getting set up in a nice position, going to look to suppress these infantry, but they are in green cover. That's going to mean that it's going to take a while. In fact, you know what, these guys aren't actually in the arc, so you're not getting any work done with that MG42 there. Just needs to tweak the arc actually. I think having it this far to the right here is a little useless. He could bring that round and it would still mostly cover this area and cover a lot more of the relevant area here where there's guards. Although actually, I think the line of sight for SturmTigerEvilzzy there doesn't actually extend far enough for him to be able to tag them anyway. Going to try and go for a fairly risky repair of the Panzer IV here. I don't know what I think about this. Grenade comes down off the guards. That's going to do some good work on the MG42, which immediately gets killed off here by the guards on the T70. This T70 is going to be able to kite really well, and the Panzer IV can't do a damn thing about it because of this Zis gun here, which is in a really good position. The Zis gun, though, is vulnerable to these Ostropon. Pretty nice dynamic fight going down here. And both forces kind of vying with each other, and pretty nicely actually. It's pretty hard for either of them to gain the upper hand. What's this in the south? Oh, this is the T-22, just kind of garrisoning the south side of the map. I like that a lot, because of course at the moment it's SturmTigerEvilzzy who's ahead on points, and he's pulled in further ahead because he still holds this middle point. That Zis gun got close, but was never able to take it because of these Ostropon here. I thought that mortar would be useful. It's just hooning rounds in, and this was what I was saying. Like, you don't see this mortar very often, but HelpingHans has got that timing, has got that sense where he knows that this is a good time for that mortar to start making a difference, because it's going to dominate the middle of the map, and he also knows his opponent doesn't have one. 222 doing some good more work here in the south, but it's not going to be able to ward these conscripts away fast enough. Panzer IV is going to come down to try and help. MG42 pintle mount upgrade has come down on that, and he needs to finish the repairs on this Panzer IV, I feel. I don't like it when players leave a tank like nearly repaired but not quite, because the way the anti-tank vehicle snaring weapons work, things like the Panzerfaust and the AT grenade for the Soviets, they'll break an engine if they hit a tank whose health is like 90% or less, or something like that. It's around about that. So it's very hard for them to break a medium tank's engine, but it's very easy for them to break a medium tank's engine where that medium tank has already sustained even just what looks like light damage. So anyway, we're going to have a bunker coming up here, and I have to assume that's going to be for a this could be a command bunker we're going to see out of SturmTiger here. Well, that mortar gets more hits in. It's looking pretty good. And let's see what the upgrade is on this mortar. Plenty of munitions for SturmTiger, so no problem for him upgrading it. And yeah, he goes for the command bunker. Fantastic. It's very rare that I see this. In fact, this may be the first for the channel. I'm not sure I've ever seen a command bunker come down on channel. Yeah, he's going to go for that command bunker upgrade here. That's going to enable him to reinforce for a decent radius here. And this building in front of it is for now providing a really nice line of sight blocker, so the command bunker's in a pretty decent position too. I suspect as soon as HelpingHans gets wind of this, I mean, if I turn on Fog of War, you can see. Oh, come on, let's get it for HelpingHans. There we go. HelpingHans' vision. He has no idea that this bunker has been positioned there. So, but once he knows, he can use that mortar to start suppressing it. Let's see, he doesn't yet have his mechanized armor building, so no danger of a Katushka entering the field anytime soon, but you know, that often happens on this map, and at the current rate of bleed, this game's going to go on for some time, so I think HelpingHans is going to look to, or could look to get a Katushka to deal with that bunker once he's aware of it. Now, let's see. Conscript's trying to make a cap here in mid. This MG42 seemingly doing nothing. I mean, they are in green cover, so I guess that's why, and the guards with PPSHs are going to look to try and get a grenade and possibly some machine gun fire or submachine gun fire into the MG team. The MG team basically needs to fall back now. This half-track needs to come around here and start toasting those guys, but I imagine SturmTiger's attention is elsewhere. He's making a grab up in the north side of the map, and we've got another fight down here. His Panzer IV is turbo-wounded. I imagine he was microing that. How come it's so wounded? His engine is broken too. He needs to start backing up. Do these guys have AT grenades ready? No, they don't. The AT grenades are on cooldown. A 3-star squad of conscripts could be dropped here for HelpingHans. Is Evil Focus firing it? No, he's not. Whoa! The Zis gun chipping in the final round there. That could have been a kill. But HelpingHans super unlucky. Gets a miss on that one. And this Panzer IV is going to limp away, seemingly to fight another day. Now, the Soviet player has made a gain in the middle. He's picked up that all-important victory point, but he's lost a resource point and a fuel point up in the north. This one conscript man also needs to run away. There's like some weird mistakes being made by the players. An M4C Sherman has arrived though. The Lend-Lease Doctrine lending its strength to the plan here for HelpingHans, and that's going to immediately pick up this Panzer IV. A nice pickup, 2/3 or 3/4 of a level of veterancy coming up onto that M4C. Whoa, 2 M4Cs? What madness is this? Jeez, was he just stacking one in the background that I didn't notice, waiting for the cooldown and then called in another? Well, anyway, he's flat out of manpower, his fuel and munitions are low. But HelpingHans is up at 85 supply over 53. Look at the top left, look at the top right. Judge those force composition for yourself. In my opinion, though, it's HelpingHans who has like a pretty damn good lead at the moment. Oh. That mortar squad is just like making me flinch with every round. The pack gun though is going to do some good work and falls back this M4C for now. The T70 is still alive though, and once repaired, could be used as just a sort of sacrificial flanking goat, just to come around the side here, get around behind this one. I hear railway artillery. Whoa, getting no good hits there. If that had landed here, that would have been brutal. But not landing in that position. yeah, I don't think this railway barrage is going to achieve anything now. And another fallback here, but the T-70 is going to chase. Man, how many squad wipes has this T-70 achieved? Like, I don't know. Feels like it's been like 2, 3. Seemingly it's going to pick up 4. The rate of fire on this cannon is just insane. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there who knows for sure, but I'm pretty sure in the T-70 there were just 2 guys. So one guy's driving, the other guy's trying to rotate the turret, aim, fire, and reload it. So I'm pretty sure that in real life the T-70 could never fire that fast. And also, unluckily enough for the Axis player, these AT mines here were not touched upon by the Soviet tank, so he's going to get no kickback on that one. Although there's a Stug here. Wow, a Stug has entered the field. Magpie, you've got to pay more attention. These things keep getting onto the field before you know about it. What's going on? So a Stug is on the field. That's a nice counter to the M4C Sherman. It'll easily pierce the front armor of that M4C. Stugs are a choice I've used myself many times against the M4C. And yeah, you can expect to penetrate with, like, I don't know, 70, at least 3/4 of the shots. It's pretty good stuff. So I applaud the choice of a Stug. I think he needs 2 if he's going to use them, though. Because 1 Stug stands to get totally overrun by M4Cs before anything can happen. Whoa, and dropping a squad of Panzer Grenadiers here in mid. Just staying and trading too long. He still has a nice setup here, though, with the pack gun, with the MG42, some nice surrounding infantry. I feel like he needs some indirect fire. I feel like he needs another Stug first, but I feel like he needs indirect fire. This Stug in mid has destroyed... Oh no, that's the 222 scout car, which has finally gone down. I guess the Zis gun finally picked that up, and it also put some damage on this Stug. Sorry, a lot of action going on here, and apparently I'm not covering it super well right now, but I'll try to stay on top of things. So, yeah, he's managed to re-establish the middle victory point. So, you know, SturmTigerEvilzzy is sticking to the plan. He may be behind, but he's ahead on the terms of the scoreline. Whoa, this Storm Pioneer is going to find and expose this gun. Sorry, they're not Storm Pioneers. They're Panzer Grenadiers, and their mid-range accuracy, yeah, proving itself once again. He just needs to get the fallback with this squad. Why is he? Yeah, there we go. Just get the fallback. Picking off a Zis gun crew is nice. That's going to slow down the Soviet player a little bit. He's going to have to re-grab that with the conscripts. He can reinforce, though, of course, because he's got this M5 half-track here. I believe this one will reinforce. It should do. Yeah, it can reinforce, yeah. Yeah, that is going to slow down HelpingHans right now. And HelpingHans, let's not forget, he's only on 300 manpower, so every infantry model he's having to replace, you know, that's not free. That is actually slowing him down quite a lot. You know, that's like more manpower that's not going into like a third M4C, for example. Now we've got MG42 here, blazing out the incendiary rounds. These conscripts taking some pretty heavy damage, despite being in heavy cover. That actually really hurts. Whoa. Whoa, that is really painful. Mortar's going to do some good work to counter it, though. It's actually going to smoke it up, and then the M4C comes in. Going to take some shots here. Pack gun's going to rotate. I believe the pack gun can... where's it going? It's pushing through the smoke? Oh, I'm not sure about that call. I don't know that that's the best plan, but he gets through anyway, and that M4C now falls down to like half health, so it's going to need some time out. The Stug also pushing in, getting some damage in up in the north. It secures itself 1 rank of veterancy. That's when it gets the target weak point ability, which is risky. It does stun vehicle cruisers. Whoa, those mines were some Soviet mines. I didn't realize that. So the Stug falling foul of some Soviet mines there. That's going to immobilize it, and now the M4Cs are going to come in to hoover it up. Some canny use of mines there. HelpingHans being rewarded for his investment in those mines handsomely. And just as the second Stug enters the field, that's a bitter blow for the Axis player. I think if he'd have had no Stugs, he would have saved up for a Panzer IV. Having 1 Stug makes you want to invest in another, because 2 Stugs is really good. But now that he only has 1 Stug because he lost that one in mid, that's real bad. But having said that, you know what? There's a squad of like Pioneers with a Flamer. They've capped all the way up to the Soviet base in the south, so, you know, so SturmTigerEvilzzy right now, he's looking pretty good. He's capturing the fuel point in the north as well, so resource-wise, he's winning this fight in terms of fuel. He could use more manpower. This is often the way with Wehrmacht in the sort of mid and late game. Railway artillery is falling here. That's not going to get anything done. But anyway, yeah, the territory control, though, looking good for Evil, and that is also reflected in the scorelines. Oh! Cracking hit there, that Stug immediately being useful, though he has to be careful, there's still 2 M4Cs out there, and he has to be careful with exposing this Stug like that. I suppose it has a pack gun helping it out here, just covering this northern approach. Wow, he could angle this left a bit more, and that would actually, like, okay, actually, you know what, that wouldn't change very much. But it does seem like it's angled a little too far right now. So, this Stug is going to encounter this M4C reasonably soon. Oh, wow. Brutal damage being done. The Soviet tanks have always been good against infantry, and wow, we've got another infinitely rotating corpse. What is going on with this game these days? That is just some crazy shizzle. What? What? I'm pretty sure that's his left leg. Am I right there? Yeah, his legs are like totally the wrong way around. Okay, finally. Infinite momentum machine has ended. Wow. Crazy stuff. So, anyway, of course these conscripts, of which there are like 4 squads, remember they can actually repair. They do have the conscript repair tool upgrade provided to them by the Lend-Lease commander. So that's going to mean that he's going to be able to keep these M4Cs in the fight a lot more efficiently than I thought. Meanwhile, in the south, big land grab being made by these conscripts. They're going to actually be able to pick up a victory point here. They're not going to be able to hold it for long, I suspect. These 2 squads of pioneers here. That's 2 flamethrowers, which is going to be more than enough. Meanwhile, though, we've got a pretty important fight coming down in mid. Whoa, this pack gun's been forced right back, and these conscripts are taking it to pieces. They can get a Molotov, and they do get a Molotov onto this MG42, and I feel like SturmTiger is finally crumbling. He's been behind for so long, but still doing so well, and taking most of the map and being ahead on the scoreline. But now, he does have a second Zis at last. That is not nothing. He needs to get some MG upgrades on these Zises, I feel, because they're just having to do so much work right now. Whoa, M4C using attack ground here. That's going to get a nice hit on that Stug through this line of sight blocker, trying for another, but that's not going to work. And I just feel like the Axis position here is getting way too compacted, and that's making it really hard for SturmTiger to get any fights in, and he's just constantly hemorrhaging damage to random things like mortars, random M4C shots coming in, just conscript squads poking through, and he's not being given just that precious little bit of time he needs to get back on his feet. In terms of frontline infantry, he's down to, like, you know, an Ostripin squad and some Storm Pioneers, Panzer Grenadiers. That's not a lot. And the bunker is now known about, so HelpingHans is going to train the mortar on that bunker. The mortar up to 2 2/3 stars of veterancy, so being pretty efficient. And here comes a Molotov. That'll be coming down onto these Ostripin. Oh, it hits them square. They are burning down fast and getting shot by conscripts at very close range. Whoa, he's not going to lose this 3-star squad, is he? He's going to try and stay and fight with reinforce. The reinforce time on the Ostripin is super fast. So, you know, he could just keep pouring his manpower into the squad. How much do they cost? 16 manpower to reinforce. What a bargain. That's crazy. So anyway, yeah. Whoa, these Ostripin, God, he's got to think about falling them back. Now they're taking fire from an M4C. The command bunker gets destroyed. This pack gun at the back is being useless. There we go. Finally decides to shoot. Oh, I see it was using aim shot, which takes a little longer. Here comes a Stug to try and capitalize. He needs to aim that. There we go. There we go. That's all right. This pack gun is out of range, though, and I think the M4C might just be able to solo the Stug, especially if there's a Zis gun. Oh, dear. It's going from bad to worse here for Evil, who's going to lose this Stug. Bang! And that one goes down. Somehow he's going to make a cap of the middle VP. I feel like if he was a bit more aggressive with these Pioneers, he could get some flaming onto that Zis gun as well. That would have been nice. But there's a stray squad of conscripts punching through in the south, and this is what I mean. There's just always a conscript squad in the wrong place, it seems. This T-70 has done a fantastic job of guarding the north. This whole time, I don't know if any Axis squads actually came this way, but if they did, this T-70 had them covered, so, like, that's pretty nice. This Stug here, kinda being a little bit useless, and SturmTiger's going to call GG at that point, and rightly so. I feel like that was just becoming unmanageable. Actually, I don't know about rightly so, because if he was in it to win it, if there was like £1,000 on the line, right, what he does here is he just pulls his forces back, holds this area and like most of this area, and just pulls back and just gets his forces in order for a split second, because he's basically, with this kind of an army, overextended by trying to hold like this amount of map. So he needs to push back. I know that sounds terrible, but he needs to push back, just build up some manpower. The things he needs right now don't cost fuel. The things he needs are just frontline infantry squads. A mortar squad would be real nice. And yeah, I know he has to build his infantry company for that, which he doesn't have. So I suppose that's like another drawback. Yeah, it's long odds. It is long odds. But all I'm saying is he's got time, because he's up at 4-4-3 over 2-1-2. So that wasn't strictly speaking over. It's just kind of slim odds to win that game now. And SturmTigerEvilzzy, he's had enough. He's going to call that one and move on, which is fair enough. HelpingHans here, giving us another display of his prowess in the Soviet versus Wehrmacht matchup. And it's impressive stuff. If I see him playing again on the ladder, I will endeavour to bring you more games, because yeah, he's clearly a player who knows what he's about. So always good to watch. Always good to watch. So yeah, that concludes this broadcast. And for now, this will be Magpie842 signing out.